Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Parkland. Welcome to the Parkland Library. It's great to be joined by Councilwoman Hawkins, whose district we are in this morning, for another great sign of progress in our city, in our library system, and we've got great momentum going on across our entire city as we are early in this week again. We're coming off an amazing record-breaking Bourbon Beyond, where we had record-setting attendance, about 210,000 people over 4 days, including over 60,000 people who came to see Zach Bryan at the Kentucky Fairgrounds on Saturday night as part of an amazing Bourbon and Beyond festival. And now we're gearing up for the 10th anniversary of Louder Than Life. That starts this Thursday out at the fairgrounds as well for another nearly 200,000 of our closest friends from around the country and world that are visiting us. And these two festivals are expanding every year, not just with the visitors they're attracting to the fairgrounds, but also as part of our community and building more community events each year. Last week, we had a great Bourbon and Beyond 5K for the first time, which had a sold-out crowd of 800 runners on Saturday morning. We had a great pregame event before the festival began in New Lou, and we're doing similar things again this weekend. There's going to be a Waterfront Wednesday in partnership with Louder Than Life this Wednesday down at the waterfront at around 5:30. And also there's going to be another pregame event, this time at Goss Avenue in Germantown, before folks head out to Louder Than Life Festival. So it is a wonderful couple of weeks here in Louisville with great momentum. And it's great to be here in the historic Parkland neighborhood to talk about this Parkland Library project, to also talk about the momentum we have going on throughout our city and libraries and our parks and so many other areas. Well, here in the Parkland neighborhood, we have the U of L Urgent Care Center right across the street. Just beyond that is the Dare to Care Community Kitchen. Parkland Plaza is nearby. Several other local businesses in the area, including MMY US, that recently located its first U.S. location right here in Parkland to build modular homes that are going to be used here in Louisville projects, but also around the region as we help to continue to build more affordable housing throughout our community. So there are great things happening right here in Portland, just like there are across the entire city. This library here that we're in today was established in 1908, and the children and families of Parkland enjoyed it for generations. Kids came here for help with their studies, to read books, and so much more, for family gatherings. It operated for about 80 years until budget cuts led for it to be closed in 1986. But all of us who are here today are here to show off to the community just how close we are to bringing the Parkland Library back to the people of Parkland and the surrounding neighborhoods. I am so thrilled and proud of everyone affiliated with Louisville Metro government for their hard work in making this a reality, for everyone on the library team, for everyone at the Library Foundation, for everyone at the Friends of the Library, that they have done to support this project and the other 3 library major projects that are underway right now. This project is making great progress, as are the others. And I'm so excited to come back once again in March when we're here to open the Parkland Library in March. Lee, our Louisville Free Public Library Director, Lee Birchfield, is going to come up in a moment to provide a few more details. And we're going to have a hard hat tour of this entire project after we're done with our weekly update. But enhancing public libraries is a key part of what we are doing, of our commitment to making Louisville a safer, stronger, and healthier city. Libraries like the Parkland Library make such a difference in the lives of Louisvillians. They're critical to improving the quality of life for our families. They're critical to improving education and childhood literacy. They're critical to improving workforce readiness. And libraries are a critical part of our economic development strategy. Libraries can host events. They can help kids explore new worlds and adults alike. They can provide safe spaces for kids to spend time after school. They can be community spaces for adults that are looking to meet. And that's why last year, when the opportunity arose to redirect $10 million of federal funding, I encouraged my friends on Metro Council, like Councilwoman Hawkins, to redirect that funding towards investing in our parks and libraries. And I'm so thrilled that Councilwoman Hawkins and her colleagues agreed with that, so that now we can finish this project. I can reopen the Fern Creek Library, a new construction project that is getting underway. Renovated Portland Library and renovated Main Library will all be reality here in the not too distant future. I'm so thankful for my colleagues on the Metro Council for their continued support of parks and libraries. And there's no better champion of parks and libraries here in her district in Parkland and surrounding neighborhoods, but also around the community, than Councilwoman Tammy Hawkins. Councilwoman, thank you for joining us here today, and please join us to say a few words.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to say that I said probably about 2 years ago, the West deserves the best. And it has been nothing less but the best since I've got in this role. But it could not have been done without Mayor Greenberg. But more than anything, Bill Hollander, Frank Harshaw, Richard Pickering, and Jessica Green. They was the root. We just kept it going. I want to say thank you to the community. I want to say thank you to the Friends of the Library Foundation. You guys have worked effortlessly. Judy Littman went door to door. She didn't play. This library here removes so many barriers. So for the opening of this library, it speaks volume. Education is important. Reduction of crime. Things like this will do that. I feel honored. Just had a new soccer field put in Russell Lee Park. Over $100,000 investment. A new pool put in Algonquin. I want to say my community should be proud to have a leader such as myself and Mayor Greenberg. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tammy. It is great partnering with you, and I'm so excited about also that pool project. I'm glad you mentioned it, because that construction is continuing on, and to reopen the Algonquin pool not too far from here before next season is truly going to be one of the most impactful partnerships and investments that Metro Council, my administration, and the community have worked on together in the last several years. So to hear a little bit more about some of the details about what's happening here at the Parkland Library and some of the other projects, including the restoration of this amazing, look at the architectural beauty of the room that we're in now. And to bring it back to restoring its glory so that people from around this neighborhood and others can enjoy it, can learn, can be educated, and connect. Let me introduce the Executive Director of Louisville Free Public Library, Lee Birchfield.
Good morning. I'm delighted to be here. I've been talking with people about and working toward the reopening of the Parkland Library for a very long time. And us being here today would not be possible without the extreme effort of a number of people, many of whom have already been mentioned, but Mayor Greenberg is so supportive of libraries, and I am so grateful for that. They are a critical piece of his vision for what Louisville can be. There's no more ardent believer than me in the importance of a public library to add resilience to a community, to provide a community gathering place, to build relationships across all of the sorts of philosophical lines that divide people. Those get dissolved and people come together at their public library, and that is one of the things that makes them such special places. Deputy Mayor Nicole George has been an incredible partner and boss throughout this entire process, and her work on behalf of the city is often overlooked, so I really appreciate what she does to help make the library a success. Metro Council and particularly Councilwoman Tammy Hawkins, the funding that has been directed towards the library over the past, really, if you go back to 2008, over the past 16 years, has been humbling and inspiring. I am very grateful, and I know the community is as well. The Library Foundation is a private 501c3, for those of you who may not be familiar with it, that supports the library in a number of ways, primarily advocacy and fundraising. And without the efforts of the Library Foundation, our library system would not be able to achieve all that it does. So Executive Director of the Library Foundation, Chandra Gordon, is here with us, so I want to thank her. Frank Harshaw, Judy Lipman, Jessica Green, Tammy Hawkins. You may not be aware that the library had a master plan in 2008 that laid out all of the capital development that would happen across Jefferson County over the next 12 or 14 years. Reopening the Parkland Library was not part of that plan. This is happening because a group of citizens got together and rallied together behind the idea of reopening this library. It closed 40 years ago. It has been used for multiple purposes since then, most recently as a division or a department of Louisville Metro Police. So I was given a couple of years ago the unenviable task of having to call the police department and tell them I needed them to move out of my building, right? So I didn't really make that call. But you get what I mean. This has taken so much effort on behalf of so many people and really has been driven by community effort. And at the heart of that community effort is the newly refounded Friends of the Parkland Library, led by Judy Lipman, Attica Scott, Fanny Cox. I'm sure I'm leaving out people, but there's been no more vocal and tireless advocate for reopening Parkland than Judy Lipman. So we really wouldn't be here today without her. About Parkland. This library opened October 15th of 1908. It was one of 9 original Carnegie Library buildings built in Jefferson County. Main, Crescent Hill, Highlands, Shelby Park, Western, the Jefferson Library on Jefferson Street, Portland, which I'll talk about in a moment, and the Eastern Library, which is just east of where the main library is now. All of those buildings are still standing, but only 4 of them are currently open as public libraries. We're getting ready to reopen Parkland, and Portland is closed for renovation. When that reopens, 6 of our original Carnegie libraries will be operating as libraries. As we've been working on this project, and I have gotten to know people who either live in the Parkland neighborhood now or lived in the Parkland neighborhood in the past, I've heard so many inspiring stories about what this library meant to people when they were children, when they were parents who brought their children here, all of the things that this library meant to the community. And I'm very excited that we are going to be able to bring it back. When it reopens in the spring, it will bring books for children, for adults, music on CD, movies on DVD. There will be a robust schedule of programming for people of all ages, but with a focus on early childhood literacy. Libraries are so instrumental in helping equip parents and caregivers to help children be ready to read when they start school and ready to read on grade level by 3rd grade. We build relationships with kids over the years that help us support them so they stay in school and complete high school and then don't fall in the gap but move on to either a career or to higher education. There'll be 2 meeting rooms here. You'll see them if you go on the tour. One is a large meeting room for large groups of around 80. The other is smaller for groups of 12 or 14. As we started trying to hold community meetings in Parkland to listen to the community about what they wanted, one of the things we learned is how few places there are in this neighborhood where community groups can gather to make their community a better place. So I'm really excited about those meeting rooms. There'll be a makerspace where families in this neighborhood will have access to see and try out technology that they've not had access to before. And in some cases, that'll be high-end technology, a 3D printer or a laser cutter. In other cases, what we've heard from the community is sort of other technology like sewing machines and teaching sewing classes and things that are really practical that help people learn how to make things and be productive. There's also downstairs a long hallway that sort of winds through the basement level that will serve as a gallery space, and we're really excited to have rotating art exhibits in the community, and one that will be up in between other exhibits that will highlight the history and culture of the Parkland neighborhood. So long story short, we should be open by the end of March, early April at the latest, but we start moving in November. So that's like 6 weeks from now. The book delivery is scheduled for this building. So the shelving will be up. We'll start shelving the collection. The staff positions are currently posted. The manager and assistant manager positions are posted on the Metro website. We are accepting applications for those. We're working on hiring all of the other positions and hope to have those people in place by January 1st. So we will have a staff here trained and ready to open this library and start providing services to the community. So that's just a really exciting place to be, and I couldn't be more delighted to be here and share that with you. As Mayor Greenberg mentioned, Parkland is one of 4 capital projects that we have going on right now. At the Parkland Library, we are basically doubling the size of one of our original Carnegie libraries. The original building's 5,848 square feet. We're adding about 6,000 square feet to that. That is in construction right now. We are estimating that the construction will complete by March of 2025 and it will open in July, so sometime in midsummer to late summer of 2025. So it won't be that long before we'll be able to have a hard hat tour at the Parkland Library. We're building a brand new library in Fern Creek. It's going to be 18,000 square feet. I'm calling it 18,000 square feet plus because, you know, it's never really a nice round number like that. We are completing the construction documents on that, and we'll put that project out to bid in October. Once those bids come back in, we'll initiate contracts with the subcontractors and we'll get the construction started. That's going to be about an 18-month construction project. And so we're looking at sometime in the middle of the year in 2026 to complete the construction. And then as always with a library, it's like building a house. After the house is done, you have to move into it. So we'll have to get the books moved in, the technology set up, the staff hired because that will be a new library. And we're looking at opening in the middle to the third quarter of 2026 at Fern Creek. And we're also doing some significant renovations at the main library. The main library has 2 buildings, one built in 1908, one built in 1969. The connection between those has never really worked, and one of the things that we are doing is fixing that long-standing problem. There are some other issues with the building, including that the 3rd floor has been closed to the public since some budget cuts about 6 years ago. So we are renovating the 3rd floor. We'll reopen that. We're solving the problem of the connection between the 2 buildings, which will result in some significant additional space. We're still finishing the design drawings for that project and working on the construction documents. This is also a more complicated project because the main library is an open operating library, and if we have to close it, we're trying to make that closure as short as possible. So we're working out the scheduling of the different phases of that project. So right now I'm expecting that construction will start in about February and will wrap up at a date to be determined once we get all that scheduling done. So I've been given the wrap up signal, which is perfect because that was the information that I had to give to you. I did want to mention one other thing that will be very quick. We're standing right now in the original part of this library. As you move towards the back, you're actually moving into an addition. The original building's about 5,300 square feet. We're doing a 3,000 square foot addition on this building, which is also allowing us to put in an elevator, make it a much bigger, more welcoming and functional space. And I am just so grateful to Mayor Greenberg, not just for the capital funding, but also for the operating funding that's in our budget this year that's making it possible for us to hire the staff and operate this building for part of this fiscal year. Thank you all very much.
Thanks, Lee. We're going to look forward to seeing the rest of the building that you were talking about in just a moment. But we wanted to bring up one other person. You know, the libraries, yes, they've got a lot of books and they have a lot of equipment. But what libraries do best is serve people and impact positively people, particularly folks that live in the neighborhood of a library. And that's what is so great about the Parkland Library. Is going to be the impact to this neighborhood and that families and folks that are living around here. So I'd like to introduce Ed Laster to talk a little bit about, from what his perspective, the reopening of the Parkland Library means to him and this community. Ed?
Thank you, Mayor. Glad to be here and glad to be invited. I was thinking a little last night, Parkland had a baby, and they have called it Norton Commons. All the things that out in Norton Commons were in Parkland back in the day. I moved into Parkland in the early 60s and went to high school at Duval, Parkland Junior High School, swam in Algonquin Park, and I worked at the other end of this block at Old Man Hines 5 and Dime. So I spent a lot of time in this space, in this area. I'm glad the pool is coming back, but I doubt I'll go. Now, Parkland Library was sort of a refuge for me. I've spent more time in the library than I probably should admit, and I don't think I'm that smart yet. So I need to probably spend some more time. I used to come in here every month because I wanted to read Popular Mechanics. That was my favorite magazine. I learned a lot of stuff with Popular Mechanics. I'm not even now sure the magazine still exists. I read books in here, I hid out in here. Probably got run out a time or two because I could be a little loud. But I love the space, I love libraries, and I still love libraries. And I'm going to make sure once this space is completed to come back through here, because I've driven by numerous times and I look at the Parkland Library and I think, oh gosh, it's down. I wonder if they'll ever get it up. I'm so glad to hear they're going to get it up and rolling. And I look forward to being in this space. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ed. We are moving forward on all of those things and more to help revitalize neighborhoods like Parkland and so many others. So before we take questions about the libraries and have a tour, we have one other non-library related item that we wanted to talk about today. If we've got another friend, and I know we were talking about Frank Harshaw earlier, who's one of the great supporters of the library. He is also a great supporter of this other agency that we are getting ready to talk about. That's a great coincidence that you're here today, Frank, so welcome. The people of Louisville depend on so many services that we have from Louisville Metro government. Our libraries, our parks, paving, public safety, and more. And one of the things that we do a lot of is to help families who manage and care for their animals and our animal population. And we certainly are encouraging of families to add four-legged friends to their families. I know that the addition of River to my family many years ago has added such great joy and so much other positivity to myself, to my wife Rachel, to our boys. And there's so many wonderful animals who similarly bring joy to people's lives, but that are also right now ready to be adopted by Louisville Metro Animal Services. My colleagues at Louisville Metro Animal Services work so hard every day to help find homes for animals across our community with loving families who want to have a pet, just like my family and so many others. So I'd like to introduce Stephanie Jackson, one of my great colleagues at Louisville Metro Animal Services, to talk a little bit more about what they're doing at LMAS and also to introduce her friend that she's brought with us here today. Stephanie?
Hi, thanks for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to highlight your city shelter. We do work really hard, so we appreciate the shout out from the mayor. This is Fox. He's a mixed breed dog. He's about 5 to 6 months old. He is available for adoption. He has been living in a foster home for the past few weeks. He's a great dog. Driving over here, he is really focused on when you talk to him. It's like he's kind of really understanding, and I really like that about him. And I just officially met him today, so I mean, he's put a good impression on me. He's super obedient for a young pup. He knows sit. He, Fox, can you sit? He will. I promise. I'm not fibbing. Good boy. Yeah, there we go. So I brought him specifically because he is in a foster home, and we're having a foster open house this Thursday from 3 to 8 at Animal House. And this is going to get community members who are interested in learning more about how fostering works. You can come and speak with real live fosters and learn how you can help your city shelter. We also have a low-cost vaccine clinic with free microchips on Saturday, September 28th at the Jeffersonian. Councilman Kramer, Councilwoman Parker, and Councilman Benson have sponsored that, so we greatly appreciate it. And it's services like that we're able to give back to communities, so we really appreciate that. There's currently about 900 pets in our care right now. That's pets in the shelter and pets in foster. That number increases daily, unfortunately, due to a lot of roaming animals. So we just want to make everybody aware to continue to contain your pets properly, make sure they're microchipped, and definitely spay and neuter. So I appreciate y'all having me and hope you have a good day.
Thanks, Stephanie.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. And before we begin questions, I just also want to echo what Stephanie just said, an encouragement to everyone to microchip your pets, to spay and neuter your pets. The challenges that we have in our community dealing with the number of pets that are at Louisville Metro Animal Services can be helped if folks across the community listen to that encouragement and microchip their pets and spay and neuter their pets as well. There are many people who want pets, but the supply gets incredibly large. So thank you, Stephanie, and thanks everyone at Louisville Metro Animal Services for what you do to help support dogs like Fox from around our entire community. So again, we are so excited with the momentum here at Parkland. We're excited about the momentum going around our entire community. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions from the media, as with Lee, if there are questions specifically about the library. Any questions? Well, Eleanor? For the LMAS director, the search is underway right now. I don't have a specific update on you. But we are excited about getting a permanent LMAS director in place, and that search is underway. All right, well, we want you guys to see the rest of the library, so please enjoy the hard hat tour and look forward to seeing you back this spring for the opening of the Parkland Library. Thank you all very much. Have a great week.